Hey guys, it's April 25th. The state decided to start turkey season a little bit early this year, so Youth Day was supposed to be next Saturday, but they moved it up a week, so it's this Saturday and Monday. So Jake and I, we've got a little brush blind built out behind the house here. We've been seeing quite a few good-sized gobblers cruising through the yard lately, so we're going to sit out here this morning and hope that the birds come through, and if they don't, we'll probably pack it up and go try somewhere else. But Jake wants to shoot his first turkey with his bow, so he's got his bow with him, and we're going to give that a shot. If it doesn't work out, we'll probably have him switch to the shotgun, but we're going to try it out, and it's just getting light out, so we're going to see what happens. Hopefully some birds roll through this morning.
He's making his way.
They're coming. See a head right now. Get down, get down, get down. Stay right here. Stay crouched down. Stay, don't move. Well, Jake and I just had 3 big toms and a Jake coming in on us, and they wouldn't quite commit to it, and they started heading back down off the backside of this field and over the stone wall. Jake and I came down and tried to sneak along the backside to catch them, cut them off, but we didn't quite make it. One crossed about 50 yards in front of us, and then the other 2 toms that were with him followed suit. It was 3 toms and a Jake. I only saw the 3 toms take off. I don't know where the Jake went. I'm sure he went with them, but in a different direction. So we're going to go back to our little setup here and grab our stuff and try to come up with a new game plan. Alrighty. Well, we had an eventful morning so far. We had 3 toms and a Jake come in on us earlier out back of the house, and they were headed at us, but I don't know if we moved and they saw us or what, but they turned around and scooted, and we tried to sneak around behind them and cut them off, but they were gone. We were going down a little tote road trying to get around the other side of the field on them, and they all scooted right out in front of us about 50 yards away. Jacob had his bow. Wanted to shoot his first turkey with his bow, but you can see he changed his mind on that one now. He probably could have blasted one of those birds if he'd had a shotgun in his hands, but we are not too far from the house, a few miles from the house now, and This is where I walked out the pond that Jake and I went fishing at a few days ago. It was last Sunday. When I had walked out to that pond with the dog, this is the way I came, and it was about a 3-mile walk to the pond, but I saw turkeys out here, I saw turkeys on the other side. There's a lot of woods out here, thousands of acres, so we're basically just going to poke down these little tote roads and do some calling and see if we can get on a bird so Jake can blow its head off. Well, looks like it's off to spot number 3. Jake and I just walked out here probably, we probably went a good half a mile out and called, and no, I don't hear anything going on. Woodpeckers, that's about it. So, I think we're gonna go try another spot. A good place with it's really hilly and a lot of hardwoods. And seen turkeys out there recently, so we'll go walk around and do some calling and see if we can strike up a bird. Well, Jake and I were just driving down the road, and we were headed to go drive down a road that's got a lot of fields on it. And I was just telling him we were coming down this road, and I was telling him me and my buddy Chuck were out fishing the other day, Jacob. And I was just telling Jake that me and Chuck were driving by here the other day, and there was a big tom standing out in this field all by himself, and sure enough, we come around the corner, and I think the same bird is out there. So we're going to try to get over here. There's a little old farm shed right here. We're going to try to sneak up behind it and get him to come in close enough for a shot, hopefully. I don't know what his deal is. He don't want to come over here.
If he goes in there, we probably cut into there.
Well, there's that house over there, so.
Oh.
He want nothing to do with us.
Well, if he goes in that field, you want to get across the field and try to cut in the wood line? I mean, because he can't see us if he goes over that field.
That's thick down there, dude. We would never get a shot on him. That's right where he's headed to. He want nothing to do with it. Well, strike 2. We saw that Tom standing out in that field by himself, and Jake and I snuck out here. We had a good spot. We were right over here behind this clump, and he had ended up working down into the little dip in the middle of the field. And we got in a good spot there and started calling, and he poked his head up, but he was headed the other way. He went down into the other corner of the field and down into some thick stuff. They cut that off years ago, and now it's just growing back so thick you can't hardly walk through it. So we're not going to bother trying to chase that one down into that mess. I guess we're going to get back in the Jeep and go to where we thought we were going to see birds anyway. There's a road with a bunch of fields down the sides, and most of it we can hunt, so we're going to get back in the Jeep and cruise down there and see if we can just spot another bird and try to move in on them, I guess. It's early still, so we got all day. Well, Jake and I were just riding around scouting fields, and I happened to glance out here, and we got a tom chasing a couple of hens out here. And they were just headed across this field to our right, so we're going to get down this skid road here, try to get set up and get them to come to us. all riled up.
You coming?
I don't see him yet. Yeah, he's getting closer. Yeah, he's coming. Get right up on me. Well, if you can shoot just like that, I just want you to be able to see him. Yeah, dude, he's coming. He's right there. Little boy.
Is he big?
See him?
They're walking right down.
Yeah, Tom's in the back. See him? He's got his van up. No, you just wait. They're gonna come right around that tree. Coming to your right. That's him right there in the back. See his blue head sticking up right there? Wait till he gets right over there. They're gonna come into that opening right to your right. Wait till Tom's there. Get him. Get him?
I don't know if I hit him.
He's coming back across, dude. Right in the opening, right there. He's coming. Get down, get down. There.
He shot that one.
I can see him right there. I can see one of their heads. They might come back, dude. Just relax. Quiet, slow, Jake. He's right there in front of us, dude. Stay down, though. Yeah, just keep your like that. Head. Put it right on his head and let her up. You still got one. I thought about that.
I thought about grabbing the head.
I thought about trying to crawl out there and stick one up and see if they'd see it. Wait. Yeah, I can see him just over in that back corner.
What are they doing? Wait. You want to try going down there and getting close to him? Getting on that point.
Well, Jacob finally got to shoot at a bird. We had what we thought was Tom and two hens out in the field here. We snuck out and called them in to us, but we realized when they got about 30 yards away that it was 3 toms. Jake didn't know which one to shoot at, so he took a shot at one of them. I'm not sure which one he was shooting at, but he missed. So they circled around and went back out the field, and we kind of snuck down the edge of the field and tried to get back on them again, but they weren't having it. They headed out the other side of the field, and not really worth going after them, I don't think. His house is up that way, and we'd probably end up right in back of someone's house, so we are going to get back to the Jeep, go drive around, check out some other spots, and hopefully get on to some more birds today. It's still pretty early. It's mid-afternoon, so I mean mid-morning, so we got plenty of time. We'll see what happens. That's a beaten deer trail right there, dude. Well, Jake and I are at our fourth spot now. It's not even 10 o'clock in the morning yet, so we're doing pretty good so far as seeing birds goes. We're headed down into the back of this field to check it out. This is the same field that I missed that big 8-pointer opening day of archery season last year. And I always see birds down here. I jump them all the time when I come down here in the summer to check my cameras and whatnot. So we're gonna poke down in here and do some calling and hopefully hear something call back. Jake's mad because he missed, but it happens. It isn't just as easy as pull up and blow their head off sometimes. Well, Jake and I walked out to that fourth spot. We went down around the bottom of the field there and did a bunch of calling, and we didn't hear anything, so we decided to head about a half hour north, and we are actually up to the other side of where we were this morning when Jake and I walked out on those trails this morning, where I was saying I went into that trout pond. We are on the other side where Jake and I walked in from last week to check it out. When we pulled down in here last week, we saw a turkey right when we parked, headed up this little snowmobile trail, so we're just going to kind of poke up through here and do some calling. And it's really hilly and a lot of hardwoods up here, so, and every time I've been out here I've seen turkeys, so hopefully we can find something, and hopefully Jake can shoot it. Well, we just walked probably a good half a mile up the mountain and called about every 100 yards. Haven't heard anything but woodpeckers, so we are going to get out of here and I think probably head back to the house, have some lunch, try to figure out what we want to do for this evening. We'll probably take it easy around the house this afternoon because it's getting hot out, really. It's probably only about 60 degrees, but it feels like it's 80 walking around like this, so probably go home and try to come up with a game plan for this evening, and might even go sit right out behind the house again. Those turkeys came off a roost right close to the house this morning. They were in the backyard pretty much first thing, so that's the plan. We'll see what happens.